Hey everybody, hey, how's it going, guys? It's me, Xander Rice, with yet another movie review. Today is a little bit special because today is the very first day of ZRICE Films Spooky Month. I've never done a spooky month before. I've actually never done any month before. I don't know what the usual is for creating new themes or something for your channel, but this is called Spooky Month. You know what Spooky Month is? If you don't want to hear me talk about Spooky Month, just skip like a minute, alright? If you don't care, if you just want to see me get to the movies, just skip a minute. Okay, but Spooky Month, for all you guys who are still here with me, is a month where we, here at ZRICE Films, on this channel, post Halloween and horror-themed videos all month long. Spooky skits, frightening flicks. It's going to be one epic of a time. Alright, now it's time to do what we have to do today. Sorry, this is just going to be one long uncut video, just like my last movie review. My last movie review was actually my first one, where I kind of went through my entire movie collection, which was way too much. But if you're a horror fan, if you're a horror buff, and you just want to stick to the horror movies, this is the video for you, because this is the very first video of October. Spooky Month. Alright, it's been a terrible week. That's all I gotta say about that. I'm not in the best mood, if you could tell, but okay, well, that's out of the way. Alright, let's get down to our first movie. This is the one, okay, I'm gonna do this one first because, hold on, is this audio on? Alright, just making sure, because if I record another video and it has no audio again, I'm just gonna be mad. I'm gonna be mad, bro! I don't want that to happen. Alright, so this is a movie that I just recently watched. It's probably one of the last horror movies I actually did watch. Evil Dead 2 by Sam Raimi himself. You know that guy who did the Spider-Man trilogy? Well, he made this one first. You probably already know that. This is... Whoa, who's texting me right now? Oh, Mr. Popular, am I right? So yes, Evil Dead 2. I gotta say, this movie is quite spectacular. This might be one of my favorite horror movies. My favorite horror movies now. Bruce Campbell gives one of the best, and I mean best performances I've ever seen by a horror movie. Not quite as the levels as, you know, gosh, it's hot in here. I have no fan or AC in here. This is pretty hot. If I did turn a fan on, I'd ruin up my audio, and I don't want to do that because I don't have a mic right now. I mean, I do have a mic right now. Here it is right here, but I don't feel like using it. Okay, so Bruce Campbell gives one of my favorite performances in horror, actually. He's just so crazy. He's so wild. He's so demented, and he gives off that really crazy eye look. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like a Christopher Lloyd type thing. But it's one of the best performances. I wouldn't put it up there as like, you know, like Jack Nicholson in The Shining type performance, but it was still good nonetheless. So this is another one, you know, Evil Dead 3 Army of Darkness. I think once Universal took hold of like the kind of the Evil Dead franchise, they had them. They couldn't put the name Evil Dead. Actually, they didn't probably take hold of the whole franchise. This is just another one. And the beginning was kind of weird. It was like completely different than the ending of Evil Dead 2. I heard there's like certain director's cuts and stuff like that. But, you know, I just watched this like, you know, a week ago. And this was the last horror movie I actually watched. A week ago seems like a long time to go without, you know, watching a horror movie. And it is. A horror movie a day, you know, keeps the boogeyman away, as I like to say. Oh snap, triple rhyme there. But yeah, I've had a lot of schoolwork. The Exorcist. My brother and sister just watched this movie, and to my surprise, they weren't too scared at all. I mean, this movie frightened the heck out of people back in the 70s when it came out. And I guess, you know, kids are just more used to terror and demons and blood and gore nowadays, even though this movie doesn't have a whole lot of gore. But, you know, gore never really scared me that much. I always thought of it as like a cool effect. Like in this one, spoiler if you don't want to hear this one, you know, Ash chops off his hand and all that blood just goes in his face. I think effects like that are kind of cool, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, very disturbing movie, I gotta admit. Maybe not the scariest movie of all time, but definitely a disturbing one. The Fun House. Now this is a pretty underrated movie by Tobe Hooper, the director of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Poltergeist, as you probably know him by. Rest in peace, Tobe Hooper, one of the great horror directors. He also made this one. This is a bit underrated. This is actually, I think this is my only film from Scream Factory. And yes, I need my horror collection isn't the biggest in the world, but I got probably about 70, 80 movies. It's gonna take a while. So here we go. The Fun House. This is interesting. It's about a couple kids that go inside of a carnival and they're like, hey, why not we just go inside the fun house? And then they're like, yeah. And then they do that, and then a lot. I think do any of them die? I think maybe one of them dies. Shoot, I'm spoiling it again, aren't I? God dang it. I'm sorry. I'll try not to spoil anything. Silver Bullet, pretty good Stephen King movie. Gary Busey didn't. I heard all of his stunts in this one, and he's just like getting thrown around all across the room. So, good job to him. Not bad. Not bad. Not my favorite Stephen King movie. Creepshow. George Romero and Stephen King reunited. I think this movie has effects from Tom Savini as well. Might be Tom Savini in this one. I mean, you know, George Romero and Tom Savini go together very well. And this one is kind of like a cool anthology film, which I like stuff like that. I gotta admit, I haven't seen this one. Bought it a long time ago. With, you know, Robert De Niro as the monster himself, but I haven't seen that one. I should probably watch that. A couple of these I haven't quite seen yet. I buy them to watch them, and then either I forget about them, or there's just no time right now, or I want to watch other movies. These are all my non-horror films over here. This whole section over here are my horror films. This is just a little stack of them that we're going to be going through. Sorry, I should have shown you guys beforehand. This is a random Friday the 13th DVD I got. I don't know why it's random. It's just kind of here. But in the spirit of talking about Friday the 13th, I'm very excited to, you know, for that new collection that's coming out. I don't got enough money to pay for it, but it's cool just looking at it, I guess. I don't know. I really want it though. But instead I got this cheap $20 Walmart version that you can get. And it has all the movies in it on DVD. It's just, okay, DVD's fine. I don't mind DVD too much. Some people are all like, no, only Blu-ray. But I don't mind DVD. It still looks okay to me. I don't know. Maybe my eyes are just bad. And then we got, oh, sorry. All the Jason movies I've seen. I've seen every single one of them. And they're all pretty good. My favorite has to be... And tell me if I'm crazy. My favorite... Oh, shoot. My favorite one just... is this one. Can you see that? Is there a glare? Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Corey Feldman is in it, and he helps fight off Jason. You don't see many kids in horror movies these days fighting off monsters. Usually they're pretty scared. And then this one is the Jason Slasher Collection. This comes with, you know, a couple films that... Oh, what is this? Thank you for purchasing this box set. Well, I don't remember getting this in there. This just kind of fell out of nowhere. What is this? Oh, you kind of like mail it in and you can get a... Oh, you can get like... It's kind of like a movie ticket. That's pretty sick, dude. Alright. Well, it's probably expired now. Okay. Yeah. Oh my gosh. The greatest horror comedy of all time. You know, Move Over, scary movie. Move Over, A Haunted House 2. Move Over, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I do like that one a lot, though. This is the ultimate horror comedy right here. Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. If you haven't seen this one, then either you just haven't gotten around to it, or maybe you don't know who Abbott and Costello are, but these guys were comedy legends back in, you know, what year was this made? 40s and 30s and 40s, most likely. Yeah, 30s and 40s. They were a pretty big deal, and even into the 50s as well. And but you know, Bud Abbott and Lou Costello are hilarious guys, and they try and fight off not just Frankenstein, but a bunch of other horror legends in there as too. Bela Lugosi is he plays Dracula perfectly as always. Child's Play, interesting enough flick. better than the new one, at least, where like they had Aubrey Plaza in it, and like Chucky was controlled by like a weird scientist guy, and then there was like drones at the end, and they're like killing people. Yeah, that was weird. There were some good kills in there, though. The kills are all that matters, isn't that right? Isn't that what horror fans think nowadays? No, okay? The story is what matters most. And nothing quite has an interesting as a story as the Scream movies. Now, the stories in here are told very well, because it makes you actually... This is one of the only film series where you actually kind of want the main characters to live. It's, when you look at in like the realms of Sydney and Dewey and Gale Weathers, you want them to survive because they're lovable and the acting is really good by all three of them. And here's the fourth one. And you want them to survive, and I can't wait to see what happens in Scream 5 coming out in 2 years. 2 years, is actually a long time. Alright, but that's how long it takes to make movies, folks. Aliens, I gotta say, I've only seen the first two. Aliens, the second one, is my favorite out of the two. I've seen the new ones as well, Covenant and Prometheus, and those ones David is interesting. I don't know. The Shining. My last movie review, I had a Shining shirt on, and it's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I got a Halloween shirt today. See that little Michael? And then they take the mask off. Yeah, and there's like the Bob the Ghost thing in there. It's pretty cool. I don't know where I got this shirt from, but I've had it for quite a long time. 3 from Hell. I don't have Devil's Rejects or House of a Thousand Corpses quite yet, but I have seen the whole Rob Zombie trilogy. This is my least favorite one. It's not like terrible. I think all Rob Zombie is okay. He's okay. House of a Thousand Corpses was good though, and so was Devil's Rejects. His Halloween stuff I'm not the biggest fan of, and this one I wasn't the biggest fan of either. I bought it to watch it. I don't know if I'll watch it again though. Phantasm, man, the tall man Angus Scrimm is in this one. He has that flying ball thingy that like kills people. Wow, it's a good one. It's an interesting one if you haven't seen that. Psycho! Okay, so I don't know if it's an Alfred Hitchcock collection over here. I don't know if Alfred Hitchcock is like can be seen as like a director of like just horror films, because he's a director of all sorts of crazy films, and they all kind of have to do with suspense. One of the last Alfred Hitchcock movies I saw was Vertigo. That one wasn't really a horror movie, but I gotta say, Psycho it's a horror movie, right? I haven't opened it, which is surprising. You know what? Should I open it right now? Nah. I don't want to bore you with that. But anyways, I got this. I was grabbing this over here. Alfred Hitchcock 15 films. They all kind of come on one DVD there for 15 movies. I don't know how they did. Oh, actually, I lied. I'm sorry. There's multiple discs. Let's see if I can take this out here. There's multiple discs. Oh, okay. They don't tell you what movies are on which, but that's fine. It'll be fine. Just figure it out. But yeah, I haven't seen all of them on here. The Lady Vanishes is good though. I like that one. Oh, if you want to see what's on, a couple of films on there, you just pause that screen. I got this for my birthday. This year. Hammer Films. Now Hammer is known as, one of the supreme leaders and, company-wise of making horror films. And they've made some of the craziest movies out there. Scream of Fear and The Gorgon are on here as well. I really like those two. I gotta see some of the other ones, but those ones in particular are quite spectacular, I gotta say. Especially Scream of Fear. The Gorgon was a little cheesy at the end, which is fine. Hammer horror is supposed to be a little cheesy. That's kind of what makes them so great to watch. It's so entertaining. Just like this one. This was entertaining. It's a little cheesy. It's a Christmas horror movie, which, those don't go very well over with critics, mostly. Actually, a whole lot of horror movies don't really go over well with critics. I mean, there isn't even like a category at the Oscars. Best horror film, that's not something they do. That's more of like a Golden Globes thing. I don't know. Anyways, I don't know what I'm talking about. If I'm rambling on too much, just mute me or get off the video. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The last thing I want in this world is for me to talk and bore people. Hopefully I'm not boring. I don't know. Saw. Now this one, I saw with my brother and sister. My whole family got around to watch Saw, as families do. And they liked it though. They saw this for the first time, just like The Exorcist. And you know, James Wan, you know, the director of Aquaman and The Conjuring, he's a pretty good director, I gotta say. He knows horror. He knows how to work that. All right. Another man who also knows horror is Robert Eggers. I'm so sorry, Eggers. It looks like Eggers. I don't want to say his name. I'm just going to call him Mr. E, alright? So Mr. E knows how to create suspense, alright? So this one, I'm not sure if it could be considered a horror movie. The Lighthouse, which came out, you know, last October and November. I really wanted to see this in theaters. I desperately wanted to see this, except none of my family would take me to go see us because I'm still a kid. I don't know how to drive yet. I have to ask my parents to go watch movies because they didn't want to see it. They didn't think that the trailers looked appetizing enough. And to this day, none of my family has seen it. I saw this a couple months later at Target and I was like, I gotta buy that. None of you guys would want to watch this with me, so I'm going to watch it by myself. And I did, and I absolutely loved it. Who is better, Robert Eggers or Ari Aster? Let me know in the comments. Nobody's going to comment, but just let me know, alright? Stephen King's It. It's good. It's long, because it was like a mini-series on TV, right? That's why it's like 4 hours, or 3 hours. 3 hours is still long for a horror movie, alright? It's got to keep your attention, and Stephen King's It pretty much does that. Leatherface 3, I'm going all backwards right here. We'll just talk about the Texas Chainsaws, alright? Alright, so I haven't seen 3, or even this weird Michael Bay one, but I have seen the first 2, so I'm going to give my reviews for these 2. The first one is a classic. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that name. Everybody knows who this man right here on the cover is. At least I hope you know who he is. If you don't know who Leatherface is, then why are you on this video in the first place? Maybe you just want to check out Spooky Month, which thank you very much. But Texas Chainsaw, one heck of a film. You'll never see anything coming. Right until the very end, it's shocking. One of my favorite horror movies of all time. This one is also good. Not one of my favorite horror movies of all time, but they put in Bill Moseley in it. Moseley, yeah. You know, who's amazing in Rob Zombie's films. And I really like him. I want to meet him one day. House of Wax with Vincent Price. Haven't seen it, sorry. Oh, these other 2. I haven't seen those. Which one is... I don't know which one is better. I guess I'll have to see. The Saw is... there's a little tag on here. I want to see what this says. It says the Saw is something on his. I'm going to take this $5 tag off. The Saw is family. Okay. Saw is family. That makes sense, actually. House on Haunted Hill and The Bat. Now, both of these I have seen. I really do like Vincent Price. He's got to be one of my favorite actors by now. He's just so magical with the way he talks and his voice and his mannerisms. He gives a great performance. He gives it all, and you know, mostly everything he does. House on Haunted Hill is really interesting. I don't quite remember too much of it. I remember, spoiler alert, his wife died by hanging herself, and then she didn't die. It was like a trick, but then like she died in the end by like going to like this pit of acid or whatever that was. Yeah, okay. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. The Bat was good too. It's like a murder mystery. Night of the Living Dead, classic. Everyone should go see that. You know, Dawn of the Dead is also really good too. You know, that one from 1978. 1978, right? I think so. I might have to fact check that. The Crazies. I know George Romero made a Crazies movie back in the 80s, which I have not seen yet, but I want to. I really don't know if does Romero's Crazy have anything to do with this one? Reinvention of the George Romero classic. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is a remake. They said Reinvention, but it's a freaking remake, alright? Who you kidding here? More Vincent Price movies. The Fly. Gotta love Vincent Price. Color Out of Space. What an interesting use of colors. Look at that. Even that cover is just so shiny and so amazing. Give this movie some love on Shudder, alright? That's the interesting one. Now, but this one is really the yowie. I haven't even opened this one. This is the one I'm gonna open right now. So we got like keys or something I could pierce this with. No. All right, but let me tell you a little story about Mandy. All right. Now, Mandy was that I watched it at a time where I was like trying to discover films outside of the normal Hollywood genre. I was like, let me branch out. All right, I want to see weird. I want to see interesting things. I want to see David Lynch. I want to see the Czechoslovakian, you know, the New Wave, the Czech Republic, all those films like Daisies and stuff like that. I want to see that. I want to see more Criterion stuff. And I saw Mandy, and I was like, whoa, now this is different. This is something different. This is what I was looking for, kind of. Because, okay, we opened it. Look at that. That's beautiful in there. Is there a different background? Oh, there's a interchangeable background that you could put in there. A different one of Nicolas Cage and everybody. But I like this one. I like this little cover that they got there. But this one is absolutely insane. Nicolas Cage goes the wildest he's ever gone. And it's pretty wild coming from Nicolas Cage, that statement. Alright, now we're going to sort of get into some of the more classic horror. Oh, Saw 6. Now we're going to get to... Oh, Nightmare on Elm Street Collection. I've only seen the first two. Sorry. I've only seen the first two. But I like them. Oh, first 4. Or first 3. I don't know. I've seen at least 3 or 4 of them. The best kill, though, is that he says, "Welcome to prime time, bleep." And he goes, and he shoves that girl through the TV. Okay. Now we're okay, one more thing that's not classic horror. Midnight Horror 8 movies. I don't know why I have this. This is bad. It's missing a DVD. I could only watch those 4 films. Not the greatest movies to watch. I got this for free. I don't know why I have that still. Probably give it away. Okay, classic. Oh, God! I just yawned. Classic horror time. Boris Karloff, The Mummy. Spooky, innovative, epic. Invisible Man. I actually like Invisible Man a little better. Claude Rains, right? Claude Rains is the Invisible Man, right? I think so. I think that's his name, right there. But I do love this one. I love the ending especially. And you see how many people he killed in that one? I think he has one of the highest kill counts in horror history. Now these ones, this is my big set, alright? This is my big ol' horror movie set. It has 50 films. And usually I try and stay away from films that look like this. From, DVD sets that look like this. Because you see 50 films put together, you're immediately going to assume, oh, that's just going to be all the garbage horror. Kind of like this. Kind of like that one I was showing you, with the 8 movies and stuff. Like, why can't I find it now? Didn't I literally... You would think that, there'd be stuff like this. Ginger Dead Man 2, Passion of the Crust. I love that title, but it's gonna be dumb. It's gonna be goofy. But no. I was surprised when I picked this up. I looked at the back here of all of the films. and I was like, whoa, there are some good ones on here. Good, some good ones that I've watched already, and some good ones that I need to watch. Carnival of Souls, really interesting movie that, you know, the director actually played the main soul guy that she keeps saying. I don't know what I'm saying. Night of Living Dead is also on here. Phantom of the Opera. Hunchback of Notre Dame with Lon Chaney. Oh my gosh. Nosferatu is on here. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde with John Barrymore. So many great films. And I was like, Jesus Christ. I got this for like $10 and I was like, okay, don't mind me. And they come in like all these kind of things. And the films is on the back. Four films on each DVD. Yeah, that was a good one. I gotta say it's a good buy. Any set with Nosferatu in it, that gets a buy from me. Dracula, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Creature from the Black Lagoon, so many things. So many things to love. I spent $13 on this. Was it worth it? I don't know, but it opened me up to, you know, the world of Universal monsters. I started with Frankenstein, then Creature from the Black Lagoon, then Bride of Frankenstein, then Mummy, then I think I watched Dracula last, actually. That's usually one of the first ones people watch, but I watched that one last. I don't know why. I don't know why it took me so long. But I love all of them. I got a giant Dracula poster now. Sticking with the Universal monsters, I got this super snazzy looking horror collection from Frankenstein that has a lot of the old Frankenstein movies in here, including but limited to Bride of Frankenstein, Son of Frankenstein, Ghost of Frankenstein, and House of Frankenstein. House of Frankenstein I really want to see. I don't know why I haven't seen it yet. Actually, I do know why. It's because I'm too dang busy. Return of Dracula and the Vampire looks interesting enough. I just bought this, so I haven't seen it yet. Alright, I'm sorry. I'm saving some good ones for last. Hunchback of Notre Dame. How do you say it? The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde with John Barrymore himself. These are classics. If classic has any meaning at all, these would get deemed as classics right away, especially The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Now this one's been talked about more and more and more in recent years. Yeah, it's quite a brilliant film. You know, for now and even for back then. I mean, you know, those German sets were like insane. But yeah, it's really interesting about like a guy who hypnotizes people to kill for him, right? Yeah, I think so. But anyways, Werner Krauss plays Dr. Caligari, and he is quite the actor. Sorry, I don't know why I got all quiet right there with my review. I got a little quiet over there because my voice is getting a little rough. All right, I've been talking for a while. I have no idea how I talked for an hour or 2 hours on my last movie review. I must have been exhausted. The Day the Earth Stood Still. I saw this one quite a while ago. I don't really remember anything about it except this alien man standing on the dock of the ship. He's just standing there, and you're like, is he gonna move? Well, what's gonna happen? And all these people were kind of like gathered around, and like the police kind of like put you know, like borders and stuff, like, hey, everybody stand back, this alien might say something and we want to know what he's gonna say. But yeah, interesting film. I should probably watch that again. Oh yeah, here he is right there. He's on the dock. He's on the loading platform. And lastly, but certainly not least, one of my favorite horror films of all time, Freaks. Todd Browning, the director of Dracula, made this epic film. I don't know if it was before or after Dracula. But anyways, I do know that this movie basically killed his career. I mean, nobody truly wanted to hire this guy ever again because he's made such a monstrosity of a film, hiring, you know, real life freaks to be in his film. I mean, this isn't really a horror film in my eyes. It's deemed as one because of their freaky nature of the people. I think it's more of like a love story. Not like a... I know that sounds weird, but like there's a lot of compassion and a lot of love that these people, these freaks, show towards one another. Because they all work at a carnival and they're all getting real close with one another. And then, you know, they work with each other every single day, and there's a friendship there. There's a loving friendship. And then pretty much, you know, the main character falls in love with somebody else, a part of this, you know, whole circus ordeal. So it is kind of like a love story in my eyes, with some, you know, suspenseful and shocking elements. But yeah, I think that's all the horror movies we have. Look, I got a giant lot of films like 2 days ago. Bags and bags full. This is just one bag of films. I don't know if I'm going to do a separate video talking about them, but I'll talk about them one day. Anyways, oh snap, Halloween. Shoot. Halloween is one of my favorite. It is my favorite horror film of all time. Freaks is probably second or third. So is The Shining. But Halloween remains, you know, reigns supreme in my book, in my eyes. So, shoot. Forgot to bring those out. All my Halloween stuff is in my house. I'm in my garage right now, but I did review all of my Halloween films in my last video. So if you want to go to my last video and click on the timestamp below, I'll put a timestamp. It will take you directly to when I review my entire Halloween collection. So if you want to see all my Michael Myers films, I will put that video link in the description, and you just watch all, just skip to the very end. It's the last film I review. Last set of movies I review on that video. So sorry about that. The reason why I'm not going to get up right now and go get it is because I had a terrible week. And I don't feel like doing a whole lot of stuff right now. Hopefully you guys didn't have as crazy of a week as I did. Crazy in a bad way, of course. But if you had a crazy week, like, woohoo, I jumped off a cliff and broke my neck. That's pretty crazy, dude. So yeah. Let me know. No one's going to let me know anything anymore. But alright, this isn't a depressing channel. This is a fun channel. Isn't that right? So, I'm not good with ending videos. Do people like and subscribe anymore? I don't know if they do. A subscription would be very greatly appreciated if you're into that sort of thing. So, subscribe, boy!